Friend, so Todd Jarvis here, your legacy advisor and attorney, just coming to you with our weekly live show called Your Legacy Live. And today, if you've been following along and watching past episodes, you'll know that we are kind of going through some of the frequently asked questions that I get about estate planning. Because we know estate planning is kind of one of those very foundational pieces of your legacy plan, and if you're a business owner, part of your exit planning strategy, right? And just overall good business planning. So today we're going to talk a little bit about it's going to be a brief episode. We're just going to talk a little bit about and answer the question broadly, what is an estate plan? So I just want to dig a little bit into that, what to expect, and we'll go from there. All right, so what is an estate plan? An estate plan, it's a plan that comprehensively covers a lot of contingency beyond just who gets what when you pass away. Who gets what is definitely an important question, but it's only one piece of that puzzle. In estate planning, it covers also your incapacity and disability, who's making sure that your bills are paid or your assets are being managed if you can't do that for yourself because you're incapacitated or disabled. Who is making medical decisions for you. A big part of this is making sure that your wishes are followed and your decisions are followed when it comes to your healthcare and your finances. And it also identifies who can talk to your doctors just to find out how you're doing. With the HIPAA release, let's make sure that your family can communicate with the hospital and just to find out how you're doing if you are in the hospital ill or injured. So an estate plan covers that piece. It also covers guardianship. So if you're a parent, you have minor children still at home, you want to make sure that you've got that short-term emergency situation covered. This is something that's not covered by a lot of estate plans that I find very vital. It's very dear to me because I have quite a few kids still at home living with me. So who can be there for those children overnight or for a short period of time when they need help? And also guardianship asks the question of who would raise them if you can no longer be there for them. That's called long-term guardianship versus the short-term guardianship. So an estate plan covers that piece. And of course, as I mentioned, an estate plan covers who gets what. You might as well, or I should say, you might use a will to say that, who gets what. You also might use a trust. Those are both tools you can use to distribute your assets after you've passed away. So you want to look at our other FAQ videos to see, what a will is or what a trust is and learn more about those specifically. But the important thing to note here is that an estate plan, it's a comprehensive plan. It covers a lot of pieces from incapacity and disability, to passing away, and also what happens long after that. So if you've got a child who needs, assets and money after you've passed away, they're still minors, someone else could be in charge of those assets and money for them until they're mature. You want to make sure you're the one that's making that decision as to who's managing those assets. They might not be a minor. Maybe they're just a young adult and you don't feel that they are mature enough to manage the assets that you're leaving them. So you can leave someone guiding them and identify someone who could be there for them to help to guide them through that maturity process until they can manage those assets themselves. So you can think about, when you think about your estate plan, you should be considering, what does that look like? How does that happen? How do your assets get distributed? When do they get distributed? And how do you provide that guidance to the next generation? Also, the legacy component of the estate plan is, this really can't be underestimated. Your family is going to remember you, by the videos you leave behind or the letters you write. They're not going to remember you by these bland legal documents that you create for your estate plan. So we need those legal documents, and they need to be excellently drafted. We can do that for you, but they're really going to care about a video or a letter or an audio or photographs, those kinds of things to remember you by. And so that legacy component is just as important as all the legal documents you put in place. In our opinion, that's what we really emphasize, is making sure that this plan works for your family, that your family experiences the best case scenario in these difficult, trying times of their life when you've become incapacitated or passed away. Make sure there's no fighting, make sure there's no contention, and make sure that they remember your legacy, remember who you are, because they have pieces of you in video or letters, and they can cherish those things. So an estate plan, really, when it comes down to it, covers all of those aspects. And so I just want you to think about that and consider what planning you've done or any planning that you want to do, and make sure that it touches all these pieces. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. Reach out to me on social media, reach out to me by email, call our office. Happy to talk to you. So really that's what we have for this episode. I told you it was going to kind of be brief. And last week I told you also that I'll probably be interspersing these throughout the week. I didn't have a lot of time last week given the holidays. But this week I'll probably do a couple impromptu episodes. I'll try to give at least 24 hours notice of those. If not, you can always catch the recordings, right? Anyways, hope that was helpful. Comment below, subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're not on YouTube, go over to my YouTube channel, subscribe so you get notifications of when these are happening. Ask questions in the comments on whatever platform you're on, and I'll make sure to check those so I can come and follow up and respond to those and help answer those. Okay? All right. Well, till next time, take care.